Joyce at Delightful Quilting and Sewing, a Knowlton dealer in Avon, New York. Last week we talked about using thread that comes off from a spool, just a regular spool like this, because it's horizontally wrapped on here, that it needs to come off like this rather than a cone, which comes off from the top of the cone like this. And the reason for that is because this, if you try and pull it up like this, you can see it's starting to twist on me and can cause all kinds of problems. So one of the things that I recommended for that was the spool holder that I have on the back post. And you can see that I have a spool back there. That is Superior's metallic, gold metallic thread that I'm going to show you how I'm using that on this quilt. So this is the information on the specialty spool adapter. This is the back of the card that gives some illustrations here of how you could use it. This is on a home sewing machine, of course, but I just have it on a spool pin on the back. It's a specialty thread spool pin adapter that I'm using. Now, to use the metallic thread that I am using, I needed to make some changes in what I normally do. I'm using bottom line in my bobbin, and my bobbin is adjusted to the same number that I always use. And with the tension spring that's on this particular machine, I'm adjusting it to 250 for the M-class bobbin. The other thing that I have done that is different is I took out the regular needle that I was using and I have replaced it with a ballpoint needle. Ballpoint needles will have either an FG or an FFG designation on the package and buy the same size that you normally do. These are titanium coated, and so the numbering is a little bit off here, but these are MR 4.5 needles in my M bobbin machine. The other thing that I did different is my thread path. It is the normal thread path, but I want you to notice from the bottom of the spool pin here, I only went through, because I'm going to demonstrate this with a color quilter, I only went through the bottom thread guide here and around my thread break sensor. And in the 3-hole thread guide here over the tension assembly, I only went down through the front hole. I tried and tested it, going through all of the holes in the pathway, all the 3 up here and the 3 down here. And on my practice piece over at the side there, I tried that, and it was way too much tension on this metallic thread, which has really very little stretch to it at all. It's kind of brittle, I would say. It's hard to describe it, but you gotta let it flow very quickly, freely through your thread path all the way down through to the needle. So I've reduced the amount of tension on the thread by taking it out of these extra holes in the thread path, and that makes it work a lot better. So over here, I've stitched in these 3 little blocks here with the metallic thread. I'm very happy with the tension. I can feel good tension on the back of it. It's pulling up into the batting, and I think it looks very nice on the top. One of the things that I mentioned last week that is super important when you're using metallic thread is you must slow down. You cannot move the machine as quickly as you normally would like to. And that means whether you're hand-guided or whether you are using automation, any kind of automation, you have to slow the machine down. That thread has to come through that thread path and down through the needle, and it needs to flow smoothly. I would say that with hand-guided quilting, one of the biggest impediments to being successful with that is not moving the machine with a nice even rate of speed. You must do that. And with our automation systems, it kind of does that for us, so that helps. So I'm just gonna let this run and do these 2 blocks right here. It's the same pattern that I did on the other side, even though these are different sizes. A little bit bigger block here. And I have this all ready to go. So my settings on my IntelliQuilter, if you have an IQ system, my speed is set at 1.2 and my detail at 0.9. And this is slower than I normally would run probably any other pattern, anything that I would do. I tested it with a slower speed, and yes, it works just as well with a slower speed, and I bumped it up until I got to this point right here with a 1.2, and felt that this was probably about as fast as I would be able to go and have it stitch as well as possible. So I'm going to feel my tension on the back here, and again, very, very good tension on the back. There's something about the gold thread that just makes this pop. Now this is a comfort quilt from our club. So comfort quilts give you an opportunity to practice some of these techniques. And when someone asked me about metallic thread used with automation, I'm like, okay, I've got a quilt that I don't have finished yet. This would be the perfect one to do it. Got more work to do on this. This was a quilt that I used out at Knowlton in the summertime at the open house when I taught an IQ class out there. And it didn't get finished. I used it a little bit since then for demonstrating IQ on. But this week it's time to get this quilt finished up and back to the club so that it can be passed out. So one of the questions is, what happens if I can't make metallic thread work? Well, I know that metallic thread will work in an open machines. It's just a matter of getting your tension right, eliminating some of the guides that your thread is going through so that thread can move smoothly. And right now, if I use the camera back, you can see how smoothly the thread is pulling off in that side pin back there. So the question comes up is, what happens if I can't make it work? I would still like that metallic kind of look. Well, my best suggestion for that is, Glide has a couple of threads if you want a silver look or you want a gold look. The one that's kind of a gold look right here is called Biscotti, is the color, and this one is Cool Gray 3, which would give a silver look. And if you're familiar with using glide threads and have no issue with that, this would be another option for getting that kind of color that you want, maybe as an accent color on your quilt. But I hope you give it a try with a metallic thread. I do recommend the Superior metallic thread because it is designed to work with our machines. And it's kind of fun to do that and gives a great look to your quilt. My husband just dropped his glasses. So until next time, keep sewing, keep quilting, and I'll see you next time.